Home Office Minister, but the amendments currently being voted on means the Minister is now unable to leave the chamber. But I am joined by Conservative MP Robin Miller, who voted against the government last night. Thanks for coming out to talk to us. I mean, there seems absolutely no question now that the Prime Minister will get this bill through. What was the point of the rebellion?
Well, I think, first of all, we're still in the middle of that committee stage. There's still at least 4, possibly 5 votes to happen this evening, so I don't quite share your confidence that it is as certain as it is. Otherwise, what's the point of voting? But
I mean, that's what people will be asking. What are the point of the 60 MPs who came out to vote against the government yesterday? Because fundamentally, nothing has changed so far.
Well, this is democracy unfolding before people right now, and this stage, the committee stage, is exactly when these ideas get tested, when people say, I don't agree with this, I think this might need tightening, as I do. I think the bill needs tightening in some places, so I've put forward my name against several amendments. For example, closing down the avenues to a Clause 39 appeal, which is the Strasbourg Court's judgment, which stopped the plane from taking off in June 22. So those sorts of things, I think, need to be narrowed. That's why we put amendments. That's why we have the debate, and that's why we have the vote.
But there seems no expectation of those amendments getting through today. Everyone is saying that the critical vote is the vote on the third reading. What will you do?
Well, the vote on the third reading only happens if there are no amendments, and we're going through a process of voting on those amendments. So, again, I respectfully say that you have a certainty about it, which I just don't think exists. It may be that in an hour's time you can say, yep, I told you so, it was the key vote. But at the moment, as we stand here, we're in that democratic process. Arguments are being held, conversations are being held, even as I came here now, walked past people. Conversations are being held, shaping colleagues' minds about that vote.
I understand what you say about the amendments, but the critical question for many people, for people watching from the outside who want this done, members of the public, they want to know this is done and finished and moving on. Last night we had 60 Tory MPs, 2 former Prime Ministers, 2 Deputy Chairmen resigned, seemingly taking a stand. They seem to make it clear today they would be voting with the government. You've lost a number of the rebels.
Why?
The likelihood of you winning on these amendments is slim. What would you do if these amendments
Why this matters and why it's important is because people need to know that there are MPs listening to them. I think this is key. My own constituents often say, are we being listened to? Is your voice being heard? And this is absolutely nailed down, boilerplated evidence. Their voice is being heard. That's why we're taking it seriously. I came from that meeting of rebels earlier this evening, and I can guarantee it was serious, it was thoughtful, it was passionate.
Our political editor said that he had been told, basically, this is about people being able to turn around to the government and say, I told you so, this bill was never going to work, and that's all it's about.
I don't recognise those comments.
In terms of the damage done, even if this bill goes through, to the bill, to Rishi Sunak, there will be many within your party who say the rebellion in itself has been really damaging. Do you accept that?
No, I don't. I think actually this shows a confidence of leadership from the Prime Minister, because what he's done is he's given 2 full days in the committee of the whole House, that's on the floor of the chamber, to debate these points.
He's had
that
really
comes from a
senior members of
security.
his own party rubbishing this bill. So Simon Clarke today said this bill, even if it goes through, even if he gets it through tonight, will not work. And the last bit of this government's parliament will be spent trying to get a bad policy to work. It won't.
Simon's a colleague, I have a lot of respect for him, and I would disagree slightly with what he said, because it's not a question of the bill not working, it's a question of the bill not working well enough. The fact is that immigration, illegal immigration, is dropping. There are measures being put in place which this government is doing.
Not because of the Rwanda plan. That is the point, isn't it? Other plans have worked with other groups of people.
No, you misrepresent it. The Rwanda plan is very simple. It's to remove the disincentive for someone standing in a safe country to risk their life to try and come to the UK. So what this has done is it has evidenced that there's a robust debate within the Conservative Party. There are real Conservatives in the Conservative Party.
Seriously?
Please let me finish. And the chasm between our side of the chamber and the opposite, because one thing I do know is this evening Labour will vote against it, and it will be probably the 87th, 88th time they have voted against measures we have brought to strengthen our control of immigration. That's the real issue.
Are you suggesting that this debate, as you characterise it, which has had senior members of Rishi Sunak's own party saying this is a bad bill, this is a bill that won't work, has not damaged him And the bill itself?
This is a very grown-up debate with very serious people treating what they hear from their constituents and believe about the country, taking it seriously. It may not be for the squeamish, but it is for those who believe in debate and testing ideas properly.
Very briefly, if you will, if these amendments don't get through, what will you do?
Well, then the question will be what bill are we voting through to the next stage, and it will go up to the Lords. It will be a third reading
What will you do?
vote. I suspect I will support it, and the reason for that was simply that it is a bill which does move things forward, but I come back to that phrase, well enough. I've challenged it. I don't think it will do it well enough, but if that's what my colleagues have basically said to me through that debate and argument, Robin, you've not persuaded us, I'm happy to go with them and support the bill.
Yes or no answer if you would. Do you see why the members of the public who see rebels coming out saying this is a bad bill and then vote for it anyway, do you see why that confuses them, disappoints them?
I would just encourage them to recognise the value of debate, and there are real Conservatives talking about conservative issues and most importantly listening to the members of the public.
Robin Miller, we're very grateful.
Thank you.